to him at all. And I hope when he does decide to hang up his boots that he finds a future in the club and at Saints, because I think he's a smart lad. We'll still keep enjoying him every time we see him. And hopefully there'll be a few more of those appearances yet to add on to the 500 and odd he's now played for. 509, I think he's now played for Saints. There's some more to come.
It's hard to see a player breaking his Super League appearances record either, as well as it is 455, and he's going to extend that by another 10 or so anyway this year. And if he goes on to next year, then absolutely blown out the water. But because anyone who's that good and that consistent surely would be playing in the NRL by the time they're 23, 24, compared to what Roby's has done. You'd think that anyway. I don't know. If it does get broken, it'll be in some time, because he's only really missed one season, hasn't he, where he had that really bad injury. And Saints decided that putting a guy with concussion problems in a hooker for 80 minutes was the answer.
That's right.
But, because Roby, other than that year, and you, by the way, were dropped off that year for the period he was out as well.
We did. Yeah, we absolutely did. I mean, there were a couple of seasons early on in his career, obviously, where he didn't play he only played like 14, 15 games. Then he had that 1 year of injury. But other than that, he's played 29, 30, 31, 32 games every season for, probably 16 out of 19 years, which is astonishing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. Maybe I'll let you have a bit of a chat about the rest of this match. Any sort of bits? Are Hull KR looking resurgent? From that lull they were in?
I thought they played well. They were helped by some, let's say, eccentric refereeing at times, but I thought they played well. They defended well. And they play attractive rugby. Smith throws caution to the wind. They're not a team who will just sort of sit and defend. They're offloading. They're testing the edges. They're playing very good attacking kicks. So I thought Hull KR played well. I thought it was a good game to watch from that perspective. My actual favourite moment of the game that wasn't Roby associated was the first try for Makinson, where it was in the first set of the game. If you watch the highlights, you can see the end of the thing, but actually you need to see the whole set of six, which started on our 10-yard line, because we made a lovely break downfield and then finished it off with a belting kick and Hurrell knocking it back inside. And it was good. It was a very, very nice piece of play. My favourite try of the game by a distance, that one. But we played all right. I think Saints are starting to find their feet again, with Wellesby up in the halves. I think that works fine. It should be okay. As you pointed out at the start, it relying on Hopoate staying fit at halfback, and we've got Benison as well, who was injured as well recently, but he's back now. So we need to be able to have probably Hopoate or Benison and Wellesby and Lomax in the halves and keep that consistency now. To enable us to compete towards the end of the season. We've got, Hull KR played well. We've got Leeds next week, and then the week after next, and then we've got Catalan away, and then Wigan at Magic. So we'll be stepping up a level over the coming month, and let's see how we go.
Yep. Some news stories. Morgan Knowles got a grade A dangerous contract, no match penalty notice for him. But James Bell got a grade A dangerous contract, 1 match penalty notice for him. What is it with your overseas back rowers not being able to hit people on time?
Yeah, well, it's a bit debatable about whether they're hitting them on time or not. But anyway, let's just
Well, they're
move on.
getting enough bans from the match review panel to suggest that they're
Yeah,
still hitting them late.
yeah. Paul
It has
Cullen's
been it is serial though, isn't it, from
never
your
liked us.
overseas
Paul
back
Cullen's
rowers?
Paul Cullen's never liked us, mate.
But it is something that Wolf needs to. I know getting aggression and getting the thing right and stuff. I mean, Shaun Wayne was criticised constantly with this perception that he got it wrong consistently with what he sent his teams out to do aggression-wise, and actually it only really seemed to fall foul in one big game. But you don't want this team having a big game thrown out by one of these Sirenans or Matautias or Bells hitting someone late, which they constantly keep doing, despite what fans are getting.
I think. I mean, I was reading the comments by Barry McDermott after Matautia got banned from the Toulouse game. I mean, it's so fucking marginal now.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean, the milliseconds we're talking about here. I think we're getting to a point. I mean, I want to protect halfbacks. I think it's right that we try and protect halfbacks. But you're getting to the stage where you almost can't tackle because if you do, you're risking picking up a ban. I think it's getting to that stage now.
I mean, it's getting to that stage for St Helens back rowers because no one else seems to be getting bans for late tackles anymore.
Well, maybe that's because we tackle.
I mean, yeah, you do. Obviously, it's a big part of your game is putting that defensive intensity in, isn't it? So you're going to get it wrong more when you're on the line more of intensity to ill discipline. Totally.
Maybe it is. I mean, what the thing I do agree with, Mark, is we can't afford to be going into the back end of the year with one of our 3 or 4 back rowers out every single game, which is the way it seems to be at the moment. And that's not something we'd like to continue. So we need to try and find a way to stop that, that's for sure.
Talking of someone who's out for a different reason, Saints prop Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook will be sidelined for up to 5 weeks after suffering a fractured cheekbone.
That's
a shame, isn't it?
It is, and the timing of that's not very good because Kyle Amor's just gone to Warrington. Paul Sod. I don't know what he did to be sent to Warrington, but it must have been pretty bad.
And they're obviously getting fed up with all his media appearances.
It must be that. I mean, the poor fella wasn't getting a game, and then McCarthy-Scarsbrook breaks his cheekbone, and I'd have thought Amor would have had a chance. Anyway, we played Wingfield we had Wingfield in there, and we had Norman, who sort of shared the duties of fourth line prop in this game. Whether that's the way we'll continue for the next month, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Wingfield did all right. He's a good player. I think he's more of a second row than a prop, but he did all right in this game anyway.
Yeah, he's a good up and coming player though. Talking of good up and coming players, St Helens halfback Lewis Dodd has signed a new contract to remain with the Super League champions until 2024. That must be pleasing. I know it wasn't under real doubt that he wouldn't be there for a bit, but to get him now onto the sort of deal that he's supposed to be on as the influential first team player shows that he's valued by the club, especially at the time where he's out anyway.
Yeah,
it should stop him looking elsewhere, shouldn't it, for a bit?
Yeah, I hope so, and I mean, I'm sure it will. I mean, I think he's a terrific prospect.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Started very well. Signed up for another 2 years. We've got some options which will take it out, we hope, to 26. But we just look forward to seeing him back in a Saints shirt next year and hopefully picking up where he left off.
Yep, one more game to get to from this weekend's games. I hope people excuse us for spending a bit more time on the Saints game because of James Roby's record. But we move on now to Wakefield Warrington. Finished 30 points to 24 in a very close game that could have gone each way. 12-all at half-time. Wakefield won it late on. 3,891 is the crowd. Tom Grant was the referee. In terms of the team stats, Wake had a lot more balls, 73 more carries and made 101 more metres and 3 more breaks. Wire actually made ground at 2.1 metres per carry better average gain than Wakey, but made 8 more errors, which hurt them from being able to, score more points, basically. You can't score without the ball.
Can't, and for the winners, the eventual winners, Jai Whitbread, 6 tackle busts, 161 metres and 2 clean breaks. That's a good haul. Corey Hall, 128 metres. Lewis Murphy, 8 tackle plus 116 metres. James Batchelor, 2 tries and 107 metres. For the losing wire, George Williams, 180 metres. Matty Ashton, a try and 150 metres. Kyle Amor, 100 metres. And Ollie Holmes, 42 tackles and 10 marker tackles.
Yeah, Callum Pearson 99 just said, ha 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 ha.
Rich Owen, season over, defensively awful again with way too many mistakes. 0-3 against Wakefield this season is shocking. I'm starting to have doubts that Darryl Powell is the man to take us forward next year. This team minus Chris Hill finished 3rd last year, and now we're in a relegation battle and in free fall. I don't think you're really in a relegation battle. If we change the squad next year with Powell's players and it doesn't work out, we'll be back to square one.
But I don't think if they changed the coach and kept the same players, they'd necessarily be ahead of square one anyway. So I think it's worth that chance, I think, for that reset that they need. But anyway, I'm not the Wire fan, so I'm happy to give them time.
Yeah. Much time as you like, fellas.
Wakey White said, great game of rugby at Windy Bellevue, with both sides taking it in turns to score tries until another late winner from Wakey sealed the deal. Clever tactics from Trin as well, who deployed Tanganoa alongside Batchelor to bully King and Ashton on that right edge, and they reaped the rewards. Special mention for Murphy, who pulled out a last-ditch game-saving tackle near the end to keep it keep it 3 out of 3 against Wire this season.
Yeah, it was a belting tackle. Did you see that one?
Yeah,
it was really good. I'm glad they put it in the highlight reel because normally they just show the tries, but they put that tackle in, which was as good as a try. Matt Speakman says that ankle tap by Murphy deserved to decide the game. Some nice attacking shape from Wire, but some of the tries they conceded were very easy. They were. Powell won't be happy with the defensive efforts. Fair play to Trin, though, for 2 big wins at home. Their fans have had plenty of shout about this month.
Yeah, I'd say whoever's playing Warrington next match, get their second rowers on your anytime try scorer betting sheet because the spaces in those sort of areas were massive.
Yeah.
There was a couple of others. From the tries that were scored anyway, it looked like that. There were some walk-in tries where there was no defenders covering across. It seems like the defensive structure is completely broken. Once you get outside the halfbacks, it's like decisions can't be made defensively for Warrington. And Wakefield took full advantage of that. I guess they knew where to hit them. They'd already beaten them a couple of times this year.
Yeah.
I do think there was other moments as well where it looked like Wakefield's tracking back. There was a lot of effort there, and it paid off in the end because a couple of times it didn't pay off. They didn't manage to pull off the play to stop the try, or the play came, but then the try was scored just after. But that Lewis Murphy one was a phenomenal effort, and it just shows if you keep pushing, you keep trying, you're going to start getting a name for yourself. And Lewis Murphy now, after his first appearance against Leeds where he dropped everything and was nowhere to be seen, making defensive decisions, after that point on, what a bounce back. You got to give him huge credit. You got to give Willie Poaching huge credit as well, because some coaches would turn it back on a young player when they're in a team that's struggling and in a rough, precarious position at the bottom of the table. But he hasn't. He said, no, you've got skills. You go out there and show it. And he has done. And he's rewarded that, not just by the spectacular tries he scored, but by the defence he's showing now, the effort, the work he's putting in. It's great to see.
Yeah, no, I quite agree with that, Mark. I think that's a really good point you've made there. And I think I've got a lot of time for Willie Poaching. I think he plays nice, attractive rugby. I think he's doing a very good job up at Wakefield with, in difficult circumstances. If you contrast that with, where Powell is and the amount of support and money and the calibre of players and roster that he's got available to him with what Poaching's doing at Wakefield, then, I think it's a fairly favourable in Poaching's favour to say what he's doing as a coach there at the moment.
One other thing I'd pull out from a Warrington point of view is George Williams' numbers again, 180 metres. Every week recently, he's been on the stats roundup with 120, 130, 150, what have you. He's carrying the ball a lot. He's running the ball a lot. It feels like he's really trying